Hello friends, welcome to the Microsoft Excel tutorial. In this session, we are going to see pivot chart. Pivot chart is dependent on pivot tables. So in this session, we are going to see how to prepare pivot chart and pivot table. So let's begin then. Now here, we can see the steps for pivot tables and here we can see the steps for pivot charts. The first step to prepare pivot table is selection of data, where the header is compulsory on the data. Let's check this out in an example. This is our data. If we see in row number 2, we have mentioned header for each column. But in row number 1, there is just a common header and not for each column. So now when we begin the preparation of pivot table, it will begin the selection of data from row number 2 up till row number 50. So this is our first step to making pivot table. Let's move ahead to the second step, that is select pivot table from insert tab. After that, we will receive a message on the screen asking whether pivot report to be placed on existing sheet or new worksheet. It means whether we want to pivot table in existing sheet or do we want a new sheet. But it is better to select new worksheet so that we can make the changes in the presentation as per our choice. Let's have a look at the example. First select data and then go to insert tab and click on option of pivot table. So here we get a message whether we want it on new worksheet or existing worksheet. Select on new worksheet. The image that we can see on screen is the first structure of pivot table. Here we can see 4 fields. There are filter, column, row and values. Do remember that in values field we always add numeric data. In rows field we add text data. Also in column field we will add text data. We can add numeric data in row or column field also. But the result is that the presentation will not look proper, so it is preferred not to add numeric data in values field. Next we have filter option. This is the same as the filter option we have in Excel. If we add any data that belongs to column field in filter, then we will get filter option in that box. Let's have a look at the example. This is our data. If you see column D and column E has numeric data, whereas column B and column C has the text data. So here we can add the option of filter. Let's add the data one by one in the respective fields. Basic will go to values. Also the data of HRA will go to the values. Department can be added in columns or it can be added in rows. Above that we have areas. Now this can be placed either on filter or in rows. We can see on screen that our pivot table is updating all the changes immediately. Department can be placed below area 2 as explained earlier. By mistakenly, if we place the numeric data of HR in rows field, then automatically the presentation will get messed up. It is always preferred to keep HRA under values field. Let's try doing this error and see its result. We have placed HRA under column boxes. It is visible that the numeric data presented for HRA does not look pleasant. That is the reason that numeric data should always place under values. We hope it is clear up till here. If we want, we can add design to the pivot table as well. When our pivot table will get prepared, immediately 2 tabs will appear on the screen. One of them is pivot table analyze and the other one is design. So go to design tab, select the option of subtotal. In that, select the option of show all subtotal at the bottom of group. We can see that everywhere in bottom subtotal has appeared. Then go to report layout. In that we will get 5 different options, out of which we need to select show in tabular form. So here we can see that the presentation has been updated. Then again go to the tab design. In that go to blank rows and click on option insert blank line after each item. If we want, we can remove it too. Let's insert it first. So here we can see that a blank line has appeared after each item. Let's read the steps for everything that we did till now while preparing the pivot table. The 4 pivot table fields are filter, columns, rows and values. Next is numerical data to be placed in value field. Non-numerical data to be placed in filter, column or row field. Once when our pivot table will get ready, then filter, sort, subtotal, grand total and report layout option will be available in pivot table. So these all options are available in pivot table and we are done with understanding pivot table. Our next step is pivot chart. So where are we going to get this option of pivot chart? In tabs, go to pivot table, analyze and select pivot chart. So let's have a look at the example. To understand this better, firstly in tabs we need to go to pivot table, analyze and select the option of pivot chart. Friends, do remember that pivot chart is dependent on pivot table. So we will select column chart and press OK. We can see that both our pivot chart and pivot table has appeared on screen. This is a special feature in this chart where we get filter option of area and department. Now suppose in the filter option of department, if we select only account, then not only the presentation of our pivot chart but also the pivot table will get updated. And suppose if we select only Ahmednagar from the filter option of pivot table, then again it will be updated in both pivot table and pivot chart. So this is all about pivot chart. Now let's read the steps. Source data from pivot table. Next step is all options of pivot table. Filters are available in pivot chart as well. Moving ahead, according to pivot table selection, pivot chart is updated. It means that if we update pivot table, automatically pivot chart will also get updated. Similarly, if pivot chart will be updated, then immediately pivot table will also be updated. They both are interconnected. Next step is the most important step, pivot chart updation. Manual updation is not allowed in pivot table. In pivot table, manual updation or correction is not allowed as it depended on another source data. In case of normal chart, corrections can be done and updated in original data, due to which the chart will be updated immediately. But in case of pivot chart and pivot table, this concept is not applicable. Original source data has to be updated and refreshed. Let's see an example. In this pivot table, we will select all for area, and also for department we will select all. Here the amount is 65,256. Suppose if you want to make some corrections in this amount, then it is not allowed. So we will have to go to the original source data and make the corrections there, and let's update the amount. But when we go to the pivot table, we can see the change has not been reflected. So in pivot table, we need to right click on the mouse and click on refresh. As soon as we click on refresh button, we can see that the amount has been updated. Let's once again change the amount to 2520 in the original data, and we can see that the amount has not been changed. But when we click on right button on the mouse and press refresh, we will see that the amount has been updated in the table as well as in the chart. We hope this is very clear to you all. That's it for the session. If you have any doubt or query, feel free to ask us. For more such videos, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to get the notification of our new videos. Also, check out our business mastery courses available on our website www.letstute.com.